In this video, I'm gonna show you 5 different content creation tools so that you can understand exactly what your audience wants to know about so that you can create content that wins. Whether you have a blog or a podcast or a video channel, doesn't matter. In fact, these are the same tools that I use to get responses from my audience like this. This email from Lourdes says, "Hi Pat, I feel like you are in my head. I'm thinking every single one of those thoughts constantly." And when you get those kinds of responses from your audience, you're gonna have people stick around longer, open your emails more, and also be more likely to become a customer. Now stick around because I'm gonna show you exactly how to get the same kinds of responses thanks to the help of my little friend. Say hello to my little friend. That's terrible. Why am I even trying that? Now what is this for and why is there a hero cam on it? Oh, it's because I'm gonna teach you how to be a sniper with your content. So stick around. Now we have 5 tools that we're gonna go over today and 5 targets that we're gonna hit with this Nerf gun as we go along. But first let me talk about this Nerf gun and why it's important. Now you're looking at the Raptor Strike, said to be one of the most accurate Nerf guns there is that you could find at Target. But it does use these really specialized darts that have the spiral on the rubber tip that allow the dart to fly faster and more accurately. Now a sniper has to be very accurate with their work, right? Or else things could go pretty bad. And it's the same thing for you and your content too. If you're not creating content that's about the stuff that your audience is interested in or answering the questions that they have, well, they might see it and never come back. So how do you know how to create content that will resonate with your audience? Well, most people blog or create content like this. And they just hope something sticks. When the truth is, you need the right tools and you need to aim in the right direction too. And that's exactly what I'm gonna teach you how to do today using the tools that we have available to us online. All right, let's get started with number 1. All right, first up, we have answerthepublic.com, one of my favorite sites as of late and one that I use quite often. And it's not only because I love seeing this guy in his oversized sweater, but also because this site helps me understand the questions that my target audience is asking. For example, if I were to type in knitting here in the search and hit get questions, I'm gonna get a number of different questions broken down into the how, are, will, can, where, which, who, what, when, and why. And so this allows me to not guess anymore, but understand what questions I can answer. And this can help determine blog posts, lead magnets, email subject lines, or potentially even some products too. So already here I can see some topics. Can knitting cause arm pain? Can knitting needles be carried on a plane? These are all questions that I guess if a person was interested in knitting would want to know about. And if you can be there to answer those questions, your content will become more relevant to yes, the human, but also guess what? To search engines too. Now this format's a little bit hard to read, but if you go up here and click on data, you can get the questions listed a little bit easier too and see them a little bit better. You can save this, and again, it becomes just a plethora of information that you can use moving forward. And check this out. Where to buy knitting supplies, where to buy knitting wool, where to buy knitting looms, where to buy knitting materials in Singapore, that's very specific. But as you can see here, there's even some affiliate and product opportunities in here too. All right, next in line, we got number 2. YouTube, an amazing resource to waste a ton of time if you don't know how to use it correctly. You can get into the dark parts of YouTube quite quickly, but it's also an amazing resource to help you do research in your target market as well. All right, so let's dive into YouTube in the knitting space and see if we could figure out, okay, what does this audience really want to learn more about? Now, this is very simple to do, so follow along. Here in the search bar, I'm gonna type in knitting, quite simply, and then I'm gonna filter by channel. So I'm gonna hit filter and then channel. And this will give me a list of some of the top knitting channels that are here on YouTube. This is great because this is where people who watch knitting exist, right? So how do we find out what of those people's content are the most popular? Well, very simple. Now I'm gonna scroll down and find a channel that has maybe over 100,000 subscribers. That doesn't always exist in some spaces, but in this one I know it does because I can see very pink knits down here at nearly 250,000 subscribers. And one with lots of videos too, because I wanna see of those videos, which ones are the most popular. So let's just go to very pink knits. Now to find the top videos, all you have to do is go to videos, then go to sort by, and then hit most popular. Now, a couple things you can do here. Obviously, number 1, you can see what videos are the most popular just by number of views. This one has 1.2 million views. And I'm gonna take note of some of those topics. For example, scalloped edge or rugged ripple blanket, learn to knit entrelac scarf, how to knit a dishcloth. Now the trick is, well, how can I make my own version of this even better. This is what Brian Dean from backlinko.com calls the skyscraper technique, where you find a really popular article or a very highly trafficked video and you just create one on the same topic, but better. And I'll put a link down below in the description for Brian's skyscraper technique article, which is so useful and very, very relevant even today. Now, another thing you can do here is not just see how many views these have, but which ones seem to have the most acceleration, meaning the most views in a short period of time. Because you can see here, this one was from 4 years ago, but there's other ones from 6 years ago. I wanna pick ones that seem to be the most trending. If you're struggling to find something with a little bit of velocity, you can go to sort by and then click on date added newest, and from those, see which ones seem to have more views than others. So these are ones that were published very recently. So 6K 2 days ago, 12K 3 days ago, 14K 1 week ago, 18K, 13K. So this 18K one seems to have a lot of velocity. If I go down here, you'll see that this one, not so much. Let's find another knitting channel just to see what the difference is. So let's go to Studio Knit with over 100,000. Thank you, Kristen. And we're gonna go to videos, and we're gonna go to sort by and most popular. So she's got a large number of views on these from 3 years ago, 2 years ago, over 500,000 on each of these, 500,000 from 2 years ago. So a lot of stitch patterns, and I feel like that's a very popular topic in this knitting space, is just showing people exactly what the stitch patterns are like. So what I would do is go in there and look at those videos and analyze them to see, okay, well, why are people watching those? What's keeping them there? And how is this person engaging them? And how can I potentially do that even better? Let's go and sort by date added newest and see if any of these seem to be going, wow, look at this one. So how to knit beads, knitting technique, 163,000 views from 3 weeks ago. That's abnormally large. And so what I would do is go in here and watch this and just try to understand it. And if it's something that seems like a lot of people are wanting to learn more about, I'm gonna look at the comments a little bit too. Well, it might be a video or some other topic that I could talk about. YouTube. All right, next up, number 3. Nice. All right, next up we have Buzzsumo.com, which is a great tool that a lot of people are using to analyze what content seems to be the most popular. So as you can see, you could type in a person's website and actually see on that website what is the most popular content. So let's actually try that right now with smartpassiveincome.com, and we'll see what we get. All right, so over the past year, this article about SEO has been the most popular. It's been the most shared, as you can see here, across all these different platforms. Then my celebration of Ask Pat episode 1000, the YouTube giveaway that I'm doing right now, which if it's still available, you'll see a link below where you can actually win an hour virtual coffee with me. So sign up for that. And also, yeah, I mean, I can actually pay to get access to more. I do have an account and I'll go in there in just a minute. But you can get access to just a few searches through the free version at buzzsumo.com. So use them wisely, although you can pay to get the upgrade, which can be very useful for you. Now let's go back into our knitting example and type in knitting here on the homepage and just see what we come up with. Okay, so over the last week, here are the ones that have the most shares. So when knitting goes horribly wrong, that I can see why it would be shared quite often. Knitting help, finger knitting project. So this isn't really telling me too much. So instead of most shared, I'm gonna go to content analysis here, and we'll keep with knitting so we can analyze this term and see what websites pop up. Now through the content analysis tool, you're able to discover a few things. Now again, we're looking at the past week, and over the past week we can see, okay, when are the most articles published, when are the most articles shared, where that sharing has happened. So this is really important because this gives us a sense of where our audience is. Here, shares by date published, content length. As you can see here, longer content for this particular space seems to be shared a lot more. And then also shared domains by network, meaning, okay, here are where these articles are being published and how they're being shared. So, but this also gives me access to, okay, where else might people be that are in my space that I can go in and do some more research from. And I can scroll down and see the top pieces of content for knitting over the last week. What if we go past 5 years? What would happen? So wow, 26.5 million total shares. You get a little bit of a trend map there, and then also average shares by network. It's interesting that Pinterest is so large here, and it wasn't before when we were just looking at the week. So perhaps that's declined. Facebook still rules number one there. What published day would make sense for you. And also look at this, average shares by content length. 6K shares average for articles that are 3,000 to 10,000 words in length. Really looks like a skyscraper, doesn't it? And again, similar kinds of stuff. And then the top articles, how to make 30-minute infinity scarf. Wow, okay, so that tells me maybe I can start to include some quicker knitting items in my blog or on my podcast or video channel. Hey, here's how to knit this thing that's really popular. And I know it's popular because it was popular on that other channel, but here's how you can do it in 30 minutes or actually 25 minutes. So again, just like a sniper, we're getting the lay of the land, we're focusing our efforts in certain spots, and then we're gonna take our shot. All right, next up we got number 4. The best way to remember this particular method, number 4, is to say to yourself, I need help, I need help, I need help. Now you might think I actually do need help, but no, I'm gonna help you because we're gonna go into Google and use that exact phrasing to help us find what people need help with. All right, so here we are in Google, and this is one of my favorite techniques, watch. I'm gonna type in forum, and then let's pick a different niche. So this would be a keyword, and I'm just gonna expand into something like fishing or something. So let's do fishing instead of knitting. So this tells Google, I wanna find all the forums that relate to fishing. But let's take it one step further, and in quotations, I'm gonna put, I need help. Now this tells Google, I wanna see all the forums related to fishing where people are saying, I need help. And as you can see, a lot of people need help here. Now what this does is it allows you to empathize with your audience a little bit more. And that's really important when it comes to creating content, to feel for them. And the way that this works is because you're understanding and finding these questions in the context of a real life person's asking for help. Not just like, okay, a Google search or something like that, but they're asking a community of other people. So you're gonna understand, for example, the language that they're gonna use and the story behind it too, and the pain that might be associated with it as well. And this allows you to better serve your audience because you are almost in their shoes at that point. Now, sometimes this works really well through Google, other times not so much, but another great place to go is Facebook groups. Okay, so here we are in the Smart Passive Income community. You can get there by going to smartpassiveincome.com/community. And really simply, once you get access to a group, find the search this group bar, and then type in the same thing, I need help. Now look at this, even more clearly than in the forums. All these people needing help with certain things. I need help making content for a drip email campaign. I need help building an app. I need help, that's a little long. I need help deciding which ebook cover to use. I need help providing paid video content to my audience. I need help, want to sell t-shirts. I need help. A lot of people need help, which is why people often join these communities to get help. So that's another strategy that you can use that uses the same I need help strategy. Sorry. But yeah, use that. Now there's a lot of other words that you can use in its place, such as I need help or help with or anybody know. That's another good one. So those are things you can type into forums and groups. LinkedIn has groups as well and many other places too, even Twitter, for example. That'll allow you to see conversations that are actually happening in real time and allow you to better empathize with them. All right, and last up, we got number 5. Boom! Boom! Yeah! There is no better way to understand exactly what your audience wants than to literally just ask them. Now, best case scenario, you are asking them in person, perhaps at a conference, or maybe you are over the phone or on a Skype call or something, consultation call or coaching call or something. Those are the best times to be able to ask because you're right there in person and you can go deeper or you can kind of understand each other as you're going along. But there is a way to automate the process of collecting these questions from people in real time from their minds. And I'll show you how to do that in a couple ways right now. All right, so you're looking at my ConvertKit account right now. Actually, this is my real life sequence for people who sign up to my email list, who denote themselves as people who have yet to start a business. So these are the email sequences that they go through. And I'm just drafting one that I want you to draft into your own email sequence right now, whether it's for beginners or advanced people or whoever it is that you're trying to serve. This is a great email to put in here, and that's the following. Email subject line. Perhaps a question like, what are you struggling with right now? That could be one. Or maybe that's in the email content section and you have a different kind of header. Another question to ask could be, what are your top 3 questions that you have for me? That could be another one. Another one could be, what's your biggest pain right now related to blank? Now, obviously, don't put a blank there, but that's where you would put knitting or fishing or whatever. Now, when I share this strategy with a lot of people, a lot of them kind of hesitate a little bit because they're worried about getting responses. This is supposed to be automatic and they don't want really a lot of communication happening here. They want it happening elsewhere. But you want people to tell you what they want to know about. And when you can automate that, it takes it out of your hands and it allows you to just constantly collect these things. And whether it's you keeping track of them, putting them into a Gmail tab folder or something like that, or having a VA go in there and start putting them in an Excel file, however you wanna organize this, it's gonna give you an idea of A, the topics that your audience wants you to talk about and the questions that they're asking too, but B, which ones are most popular. So you might see that after you start keeping track of these as they come in, there's a few that are being asked quite often by many people. That's gonna give you a sign that yes, you should talk about those things too. All right, now the most important thing you need to realize is that a sniper, when they're doing the work, they're very patient, right? They're doing the work, they're doing the research, they're making those fine adjustments so they can focus in the right place and take the right shot. And that's what I want you to do too. Now that you have these tools in your arsenal, you can use them to your advantage so that you can make sure you talk about the topics that make sense for you and your audience. All right, so I had a lot of fun shooting this video. I'm just a big kid trying to play and have fun and teach at the same time too. So if you had fun and you like this video, hook me up with a like, and also make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as you were subscribing, click on that bell icon to make sure you get notified when new videos come out too. And really quick before you leave, I'd love for you to answer this quick question below in the comment section. And that question is, very simply, what is a tool that you've been using recently that has been helping you with your business? I shared a few tools with you today. Share one back with me and the rest of the community, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Hey, thanks again for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. Ah. I messed up. His name is Joshua.